coming at you live from the kitchen. Now you clicked on this video because you saw an iceberg, and by God, we're going to be getting into an iceberg. I am just sick of seeing an iceberg with like 233 entries. No more of that. So I decided to make my own. Screw y'all, it's got 17 entries, and they're cool. Buckle your word I can't say because I want to get paid, because I need to eat. Get cozy, get ready to dive on into the odd astronomical objects iceberg made by yours truly. Now at this point, if you don't understand how an iceberg works, I'm sure that the Canadian healthcare system would tell you to seek assistance in death, but don't worry, I'm not going to patronize you too much. I'll just go ahead and tell you what's what. So at the start we have the cool stuff that almost everyone knows about, and at the bottom we got the weird stuff. We're starting at the top. Here we go. We're on to the first entry. Jupiter's Great Spot. I listed this as Jupiter's Great Storm in the iceberg because I made the first few entries from memory of just weird stuff I know from around space, but it's the big red spot. Everyone knows about it, but it's just weird. Why is it there? What is it doing? What is it planning? Where was it September 8th, 2001? Alright, jokes aside, tomfoolery away. Jupiter's Great Red Spot is just a giant storm. There is a bit of mystery on, there's a 130 period from when it was first spotted in the 17th century to the 19th century where no one looked at it. So we don't know if it was just gone, but it's just there consistently. And it moves a little, but it's just there. And it's like a mega hurricane and sent to a planet with a lot more gas. The gas giants are actually very turbulent places, but that is an entirely different topic that I could get into. So, now you know about Jupiter's Great Red Spot. Mega hurricane on a different planet that just never goes away, unless maybe it did. Quasar. Now, quasars aren't as well known as other things may be on this iceberg, but it's still in the top layer just on account of most people at least have seen one. Quasars are super bright objects at the center of a lot of galaxies, and what they are is black holes that ate too much and then pulled up to the universe and went, "Mom, I flew up," and just started blasting shit everywhere. Basically, a quasar is when a black hole consumes too much energy. It will start to release the energy in the form of electromagnetic, let me double check this shit, electromagnetic radiation from the top and the bottom, creating a super luminous, super bright object that is also consuming all of this stuff. Basically, sometimes it spits it back out, sort of. It doesn't quite go into the event horizon, it just sort of bink. Hexagon on Saturn. So, Saturn just has a hexagon. Now you might be thinking, why? Now it's pretty easy squeezy lemon squeezy. That wasn't a sentence. I'm so sorry. Saturn's northern pole, just a hurricane. Now, of course, jet streams come from the northern poles of planets because of a lot of meteorological phenomena that would take me an eternity to explain. So what you need to know is that there's big storm, there's beefy boy right at the top here, right? And then we've got smaller boys all around. Now the smaller storms interact with the big storm, and the big storm, which is already fucking with the jet streams, which controls air circulation around the planet, is then aided, and the jet streams are pinched off. The jet streams being pinched off forms the hexagonal shape that you see at the top of Saturn, and now you know why there's a hexagon on Saturn. Alright gamers, next up we got the WOW signal. You probably know what the WOW signal is if you like space, and if you don't like space, what are you doing? Like actually, what are you doing? Get the fuck out. Just kidding. So, the WOW signal is a radio signal that was so intense and so strangely modulated that people believe that it is the highest likelihood of us ever being contacted by extraterrestrial life. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up for the specifics right now, so we're going to go ahead and just read that. From Wikipedia, the WOW signal was a strong narrowband radio signal detected on August 15th, 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear Telescope in the United States, then used to support the search for extraterrestrial life, which would eventually become SETI. The signal appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and bore the expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. Basically, Cornell University physicists speculated that any extraterrestrial civilization trying to communicate via radio signals would use a frequency of 1420. Nice, for the 420. I don't think 1420 has any other meaning other than 1420. Anyway, which is naturally emitted by hydrogen, the most common element, something that any technologically advanced civilization would be knowledgeable about, right? So, after completing an extensive survey of extragalactic radio sources, Ohio State University assigned the now-defunct Ohio State University Observatory, nicknamed Big Ear, to the scientific search for extraterrestrial life, and the longest-running program of its kind in history. The radio telescope was located near Perkins Observatory on the campus of Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware, Ohio. Who names these places? Who names these places? That's what I want to know. Anyway, now, of course, the string 6EQUJ, commonly misinterpreted as a message encoded in a radio signal, represents, in fact, the signal's intensity over time, expressing in the particular measuring system adopted for the experiment. The signal itself appears to be unmodulated in continuous waves, so the aliens really went and then just sent that shit out. Although any modulation with a period of less than 10 seconds or longer than 72 seconds would not have been detectable. The signal intensity was measured as a signal-to-noise ratio, with the noise or baseline averaged over a few minutes, and the signal was sampled for 10 seconds and processed by the computer, which took 2 seconds. What? Which took 2 seconds. Okay, that's weird. The result for each frequency channel was an output on the printout as a single alphanumeric character representing the 10-second average intensity minus the baseline, expressed as a dimensionless multiple of the signal's standard deviation. What does this mean in English? Radio wave loud. Machine go, loud. Writes down volume. So there wasn't even really any code to crack, it was just sort of a monotone thing. It was just so bizarre, and the kicker here is that it has never been detected again, nothing like that. Typically when we see things like that, in the incidence of the little green men thing, which is how neutron stars were discovered, I do believe, basically there was a radio wave that was weird, and someone looked at this and thought, this is weird. So they go ahead and they measure again, and they see it, and they're like, weirder. So we point a telescope over there, and then we detect something we haven't seen before. That didn't happen in this. They just saw this and went, wow, which is actually written on the margins, which is why it's called the wow signal. And then they just never fucking saw it again. It vanished like a father going to get milk. I guess traffic must be really bad for the aliens. Alright, congratulations, soldiers. We've made it through the first level of the iceberg. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you're probably wondering what's going on here. Specifically, why is there so much face? Yeah, when I was younger and I was making these videos, and by younger I mean like 16 because I have been doing it that long, I wanted to not be like the other girls. Using a webcam is lazy. You know why every other YouTuber does it? Because it's fucking easy. So I'm doing it too. We're on the gravy train, baby. And y'all get Iceberg videos for it. So, here we go. Much love. Thanks for sticking around. Let's get into the next level of the iceberg. Alright, now the particularly observant amongst you may notice that, the shirt's different. That's because I'm recording on a different day. You know, I just got finished with my morning Deftones and shower jack-off session, so now I'm ready to just tackle whatever life has to throw at me. Now, before we get into the next few entries of the iceberg, I need to go ahead and explain what a neutron star is. So, what is a neutron star? It's simple. A neutron star is a collapsed core of a massive supergiant star which had a total mass between 10 and 25 solar masses, which means 10 to 25 suns, I believe. Now, except for black holes, neutron stars are the smallest and densest, most currently known class of stellar objects. They're super ridiculously dense to the point where hydrogen would become a metal on them, and they're really, like, They're kind of redlining becoming a black hole, but they don't, and they're stable, so they do stuff, and it's interesting. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and tackle the next 2 entries. Alright, next entry we've got is Magnetar. Now, a Magnetar is a type of neutron star that has a super powerful magnetic field. And you might think, why does this matter? Easy, because when a neutron star is doing nothing, it's basically undetectable. You can't see it. It's just a giant lump of metal just floating in space. You don't see that kind of stuff. But when it starts to move, when it has energy, that's when it gets interesting. Now, a Magnetar has an extremely powerful magnetic field, like I just said, and the magnetic field decay powers the emission of high-energy electromagnetic radiation, particularly X-rays and gamma rays. So it was proposed as a thing that could be in 1992, and as of July of 2021, there are 24 confirmed Magnetars that are just out there floating. And while it might seem pretty inconsequential, gamma rays are a pretty big deal because they kind of have the power to kill everything on Earth. So when we detect some of those, it's pretty keen that we look into that. Now you might be worried, oh man, what do you mean gamma rays can kill everything on Earth? Pulsar. Alright, so Pulsar is another form of neutron star. These boys fucking spin. There's no other way to put it. They just be in there, and they be... Alright, just imagine that you put a globe and a vibrator on each other, and it's just creating rotational forces that are beyond human comprehension. That's what's going on there, right? These boys rotating, okay? Now, when they're emitting radio pulses, which is why a pulsar is called that, it's pulsating radio source. This really fucked with people in the 60s because someone was just chilling and then they get consistently. So someone's like, oh shit, we found the aliens! They were originally labeled little green men. I mentioned this little conundrum a bit earlier, right? So, we start investigating this because, oh shit, aliens, question mark? No, wrong. Giant lump of steel. Hydrogen steel. Rotating extraordinarily fast, creating a sort of lighthouse effect. That's what a pulsar is. Interesting. Alright, zombie stars. You probably haven't heard about this. You're probably hearing this and thinking something along the lines of, what? So keep watching and I'm gonna explain, because that's how videos work. So, a zombie star is pretty self-explanatory. It's a star that came back to life after it died. Now, you might be thinking, well, now how the hell did it do that? Now, that's a pretty rational line of thought, because how the hell did it do that? And it's pretty simple. So, typically, when stars go supernova, there's type 1a, which is star starts fusing things that are not small elements. Get heavy. Fusion, bad. No good. Star eventually balloon out. Too much star. Kaboom. White dwarf left behind afterwards. That's the core of the star, still kind of doing stuff. That's type 1a. Type 1ax is pretty similar, except star don't go kaboom as bad. So there's still a lot of stuff left around that white core, so it starts to eat. And it keeps eating. And a lot of these are hypothesized to be much more doable in a binary star system. So you have one guy that blew the fuck up, and the other guy that's like, oh shit! My neighbor! You know? And then the white dwarf starts coalescing again. And then, because it's a massive gravitational force, it starts stealing from the neighbor. So imagine your neighbor dies, and then his vengeful spirit breaks into your house and starts eating your food. And it just starts to manifest a body again. That's essentially what's happening here. Pretty terrifying, right? Well, that's space for you, baby. This shit's horrifying. We were not meant to study this, except it's super cool, so we definitely were. Now, of course, you might be wondering, well, where's the proof? Did this guy just come up with all of this? Did it come to him in a dream? Insanity? No. There's an observed instance, and I have the Wikipedia page pulled up right now that I'm going to read from. So, the observed instance of a zombie star. Supernova SN2012Z in the NGC 1309 galaxy is thought to be of type 1AX and was discovered by S. Bisenko, W. Lee, and A. V. Filipenko using the Katzmann Automatic Imaging Telescope on 2012, January 29th. I don't understand why the .15 is there. UT, is that Utah time? Universal time. Yeah, there we go. Universal time. 15 universal time is part of a supernova. I know how to speak. As part of a supernova search at Lick Observatory. The proposed formation scenario for SN2012Z is that the original system at the heart of the supernova was a pair of binary large but otherwise ordinary main sequence stars. Normal-sized guys. The more massive of the binary stars lost substantial amounts of its hydrogen and helium to its smaller companion and became a white dwarf. The newly engorged companion star then evolved into an enlarged state, whose outer layers engulfed the white dwarf. The outer hydrogen layers of the overlapping stars were then ejected, leaving behind a still active helium core in the white dwarf. In turn, the white dwarf drained back some matter from the remaining companion star until the white dwarf became so unstable that it blew up, with the former helium core left behind as a remnant zombie star. There were images of the area from before the supernova, allowing before and after images, and the process of the supernova to be studied to test the zombie star hypothesis wasn't observed again a few years after the event. Authors found the decline of the light curve was consistent with the existence of radioactively heated bound remnants, but that it was difficult to come up with a model that could explain the whole light curve doing what it did. Basically, shit weird. This discovery is a milestone in a decades-long search by astronomers for such an occurrence. The observation of SN2012Z was the first time astrophysicists were able to identify a star system that later went supernova. SN2008HA may be type 1AX supernova, so zombie star, but significantly weaker than SN2012Z, so not exactly provable. Icarus. No, it's not the guy that you really can't ask if he wants hot wings. Icarus is the furthest star ever detected in the universe. Hey crew, this is another pen from editing here. I just very confidently gave you a smile and a thumbs up and said Icarus is the furthest star ever detected. No, not anymore. So yeah. Icarus is the second furthest star ever detected, coming in at 14.4 billion light years. If I go ahead and I pull up the actual Wikipedia, which I have mega magnified for video purposes, we can now see that the furthest star now, as of March of 2022, is WHLO 137LS, known as Arendelle, which is alright, cool. I love scientific advancement and making me look like an idiot. You know, it's great stuff. Humbling, even. Anyway, I'm sure you miss my beautiful face, so we're gonna go ahead and get back into the cool stuff. Arrokoth. Arrokoth is a trans-Neptunian Kuiper Belt object, which basically just means that it's past Neptune in the outer asteroid belt, super duper far away. It was discovered in 2014 using the Hubble Space Telescope, and it was visited by a spacecraft in January 1st of 2019 when New Horizons zipped past it and took photos of it. Its only other really claim to fame is just being really red. Like really red, which isn't common out there. So yeah, Arrokoth. I'm battling demons, and by demons I mean bisexual thoughts and my gone attention span. Carbon spiral, let me read this right because I got number dyslexia. AFGL 3068. Now you might be thinking, what kind of name is that? Bad one. Astronomers? Not the kings of naming stuff. I will be the first to admit that. So, what exactly is cooking with this? Basically, it is a spiral of carbon. Wow. It's in the name. So, why is it special? Because normally spirals don't really form in space. Like, yeah, we got galaxies, and we got black holes, and that's it. No more spirals. Nobody else gets spirals. Except for this thing, and I use that term loosely. Basically, carbon spiral AFGL 3068 is a binary star system. Now, one star is a white-blue star that's just kind of doing its thing, and the other star we can't really see because it's just vomiting carbon everywhere, which is what's causing the spiral. It just spits out this material. The material kind of rotates around it. It's still spitting out the material. We can't even really see the star, and the thing is just extraordinarily dim. Now, it was noticed because there was a lot of infrared energy and thermal energy, but not a lot of light energy. So scientists just threw a telescope up there, long exposure style, and were like, what the fuck is cooking? And they figured it out. Now, this is super cool because it is, well, extraordinarily rare, and it's how planetary nebulas form, or at least it's theorized to be part of how, because this star is just vomiting material everywhere, and it's dying. And we don't really see this a lot because this is going to only last a few thousand years, and then it's just gone. No more star. All the star stuff is outside of the star. It's like blood and people, and how it needs to be in there. Yeah, kind of like that. Anyway, that's carbon spiral AFGL 3068. Milky Way ethyl formate cloud. Now, radio astronomers studying dust clouds in the center of the galaxy noticed that it looks like there's ethyl formate in there. Now, not only is this a pretty complex molecule to just be floating around in space, which is pretty cool, it's also the flavor of raspberries. That's right. The Milky Way is raspberry flavored. Isn't that something weird? Also smells of rum, so there's just a random spot of space that is a pirate's wet dream. You know, the sailors are looking at this and they're creaming their jeans. You know, the panties are dropping because they know that part of space tastes like raspberry and smells like rum. Anyway, on to the next thing. Oh fuck, I'm out of chocolate syrup. I gotta jack off the bottle. There it is. Moving out has been great, you know. Slept on the floor for 2 months. Sometimes when I'm hungry, I eat a whole can of corn. That is entirely besides the point, though. I literally just wanted some chocolate milk. We're here to talk about Hoag's object. You might be thinking, what is this object? And what is it doing in the iceberg? So Hoag's object, according to Wikipedia, which I have pulled up on the computer right behind the camera, is a really bizarre ring-shaped galaxy. It's got just a ring of hot young blue stars, and then a massive gap, like unfathomable to the human mind, massive gap, and then a core of older, dimmer yellow stars. It's bizarre, because normally, ringed galaxies are a thing, but they normally form in a collision, and there's no evidence of a collision. And it's not gravitational warping, because the light is not redshifted differently, and it's all the same, which means it's all coming from the same spot. So we have no clue what the hell happened. Sometimes there's bar galaxies, too, which are core, right? Bars, spinny, and some people theorize that the bars just went away, but that's also unlikely, so we're left with an object, and we just don't know how the hell it got there, or what it's doing there. Neat. Hey gang, this is another pen from editing coming at you live again. I fucking forgot nuclear pasta. How? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I probably just started talking and thought I pressed record when in fact I did not. Regardless, though, I fucking forgot nuclear pasta. So what is nuclear pasta? Not yummy, I'll tell you that much. Nuclear pasta, thanks to the Wikipedia page that I have here, and here, let me blow it up to 200% magnification so everyone can read it. That's 300, too far. Deflate. Now, nuclear pasta in astrophysics and nuclear physics is a theoretical type of degenerate matter that is believed to exist within the crests of neutron stars. If it exists, nuclear pasta would be the strongest material in the universe between the surface of a neutron star and the I know how to say that word. Quark gluon plasma at the core at a matter densities of 10 to the 14th power grams per centimeters cubed. Nuclear attraction and Coulomb repulsion forces are of comparable magnitude. The competition between the forces leads to the formation of a variety of complex structures assembled from neutrons and protons. Astrophysicists call these types of structure nuclear pasta because the geometry of the structure resembles noodles. Cool, huh? So formation of this theoretically would happen in a neutron star. Mind-blowing. Wow. Now, there's food in my mouth. Hold on. Oh, bad texture. Anyway. Now, of course, the formation of this stuff is the same thing of how I was talking about helium and hydrogen would become a metal because of the pressure. Metal would start to become this because of the pressure. So, there you have it. Alright gang, different shirt, that's because it's another day of recording. You know, I finished my daily business, which was stopping down at the whorehouse, and your mom offered me a discount rate, but that is for an entirely different conversation. The next entry we have on this bad boy is Pulsar Planet. So what is a Pulsar Planet? Easy. It's a planet rotating around a pulsar star. Easy. It's a planet orbiting a neutron star. That is a pulsar. Mind blown. Holy shit. This is pretty interesting because these planets don't just blow up, which you would think they would do, but they don't. And the planets also were the first ones detected because a millisecond pulsar had exoplanets around them, and scientists noticed that something was a little strange with the radio. And then, oh shit, there's a planet. So, BLC1. Now this one's a bit of a deeper topic, so I've got the Wikipedia page pulled up right behind you to read it off of, baby. You're welcome. So, BLC, Breakthrough Listen Candidate 1, was a candidate SETI radio signal detected and observed during April and May of 2019 and first reported on 18th of December 2020, spatially coincident with the direction of the solar system's closest star, Proxima Centauri. The signal shift and its frequency, consistent with the Doppler effect, was suggested to be inconsistent with what would be caused by the movement of Proxima b, a planet of Proxima Centauri. The Doppler shift in the signal was the opposite of what would be expected from Earth's spin. Now, what is the Doppler effect? Luckily, we have a little Wikipedia blurb right here to save my ass. The Doppler effect of the Doppler shift is the apparent change in the frequency of a wave in relation to an observer moving relative to the wave's source. It's named after the Austrian physicist Christian Doppler. Mind-blowing. I really want someone with the last name like Coxon to become super famous in science, so we just have the Coxon constant. You know how much joy that would bring me? People with inappropriate names, get into science now. It's not your choice, it's mine. I'm making you. Anyway, the radio signal was detected during 30 hours of observations conducted by Breakthrough Listen at the Parkes Observatory in Australia in April and May of 2019. We already kinda got that bit. As of December 2020, follow-up observations have failed to detect the signal again, a step necessary to confirm that the signal was a technosignature. A paper by other astronomers released 10 days before the news report about BLC-1 reports a detection of a bright, long-duration optical flare accompanied by a series of intense, coherent radio bursts from Proxima Centauri, also in April and May of 2019. Their finding has not been put in a direct relation to the BLC-1 signal by scientists or media outlets. Luckily, there's kooky online people like me to do that, but I won't. I'm sure others did, though. But it implies that planets around Proxima Centauri and other red dwarfs are uninhabitable for humans and other currently known organisms. Basically, flares are bad for life. No good. But also, life does whatever the fuck it wants, so who knows. In February 2021, a new study proposed as the probability of a radio-transmitting civilization emerging on the Sun's closest stellar neighbor was calculated to be approximately 10 to the negative 8th power. The Copernican principle made BLC-1 very unlikely to be a technological radio signal from the Alpha Centauri system. As of October 25, 2021, researchers published 2 studies concluding that the signal could not be human radio interference. So what was it? It was something. Do you get to know? No. None of us get to know. Perish with the knowledge that this mystery remains unsolved. But don't perish just yet, I still need you to like and subscribe. Fermi bubbles. Once again, this bad boy is a little meaty, a little complex. So lucky for you, I got the official NASA.gov website. Yes, that's right, I'm reading from NASA. So, let's go ahead and dive right into this article. It's scrum-diddly-umptious, I assure you. In 2010, gamma-ray observations by Fermi revealed previously unknown features in our galaxy that stretch halfway across the sky. Now called the Fermi bubbles, these mysterious structures, magenta in the image above that I will probably have on screen. That's a problem for editing me. And editing me always fucking hates recording me, so the duality of mankind, baby. Now, these mysterious structures emerge above and below the center of our galaxy, spanning a total length of about 50,000 light-years. The plane of our galaxy glows brightly in gamma rays, which results when high-energy particles called cosmic rays interact with gas and dust. The Fermi bubbles emit higher-energy gamma rays than the rest of the galaxy's disk, and, the bubbles may be related to the release of vast amounts of energy emitted from the supermassive black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. Because, by the way, there's a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and if you didn't know that, now you do. And if you do know that, think on it some more. Black holes love to consume. We know that in other galaxies, supermassive black holes that ingest large amounts of matter can power high-energy jets, quasars. It's possible the Milky Way central black hole went through a phase in the past, producing and becoming a quasar, responsible for the Fermi bubbles we see today. A completely unexpected discovery like the Fermi bubbles is super cool because scientists are like, whoa, whoa, ah! And then they get to do more research and shit. Corned beef sandwich. You might be thinking to yourself, this isn't an astronomical object. This isn't in space. Except for that time that it was. That's right, there was a corned beef sandwich in space. So the crew of the Gemini 3 were a group of silly little guys. Because back in the day, you could be a silly little goober, and you wouldn't be oppressed. You were just allowed to be silly. If you were a very specific breed of person. But that gets into a lot of social issues that I'm not going to talk about in this video. Just be aware that they exist. So anyways, these guys decide to be silly little goobers. And they bring a corned beef sandwich. The problem is when there's no gravity, corned beef sandwiches don't really sandwich properly. They don't corned beef properly either. So dry food like that will just crumble. So the sandwich starts falling apart. And these guys are like, oh shit, I was hoping for a good sandwich. But they really only got 2 bites of it. And then they stuff it back in their pocket. And then when they come down, the ground crew is like, hey guys, what the fuck? Because those crumbs could have gotten in the electrical systems and like actually killed everyone. It could have been a massive disaster. It wasn't, but it could have. A lot of government officials were like, NASA, why are you letting your guys be silly little goobers? A lot of scientists were like, guys, why are you being silly goobers? And the Gemini 3 crew was like, sandwich. Didn't happen again. Eventually NASA did, funnily enough, approve corned beef to go into space with the proper care taken of it, but you can't just have bread in space because it falls apart. Okay, what's up, crew? We did it. We successfully made it to the end of the video. I had an original ending recorded to this, but then I finally made some progress on some other things. So first things first, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and just subscribe. You've been here for like 34-ish minutes. Totally free. Just do it. Just push the button. Totally free. Helps me support my dreams. You get more content like this and other various video essays, and also the 1000 Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg that I'm doing. And a bunch of other stuff. Really, you only really gain from this. And if you don't like it, you can verbally abuse me and then leave. It's an awesome deal. Sick bargain. And I know, I'm so sorry. The chest hair isn't out for this one. Just got off of a day of work. Just finished showering. You know, all that fun stuff. Now, into the thing I made progress on. I fucking did it. My book is out. Eternal, The Rot of a Flower, and Other Works by yours truly, Another Pen, can now be bought on the Kindle website through Amazon. As much as I loathe to so much as poke Jeff Bezos's slimy little empire, it does allow indie authors to be indie authors. So if you want to support an indie author and read a work of art that is just about loneliness, helplessness, and how to cope with it, go ahead and just buy it. It's in the description. It supports me. You get a cool book out of it. There's a hair in the back of my throat. Please end my fucking life. On to some other stuff. There's also merch. There's been merch for a bit. If you want to buy it, down in the description. I will not lie to you. It is not the best merch. It is the first merch website I found that would take me. But what it is it's a way to show that you like some guy who makes videos online. There's shirts, there's stickers, there's mugs, there's all kinds of neat stuff. Go on and check it out. It's cool. At least me and my graphic designer think it's cool. Speaking of graphic designer, huge shout out to Saki. I don't really mention them by name in any of the videos because I kind of prefer the anonymity. How the fuck do you say that word? They like not being named. Anonymity. I did it. I found out how to say the fucking word. But they do carry a lot of weight around here, so thanks to them. Go ahead and give them a thanks if you made it this far. And then lastly, huge thanks to the patrons, because they funded this whole misadventure. You too can join the patron and influence what does or does not become a video. And lastly, just thanks again for watching all of this. Again, like, comment, subscribe, all of that other stuff every other YouTuber tells you to do. They tell you to do it for a reason, because it helps. And if you dislike the video, leave a hate comment. Dislike the video, whatever, player. I'm not gonna drag this out any longer, so thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Have a great time, and until next time, memento mori, baby.